I think ultimately, though, if you are capable of getting sufficient sleep and you're not feeling rested, you're feeling like you still need those naps, why? Is that telling you something? Is that a symptom of something?
Yeah.
Right? And maybe it could be because you're just very revved up and have high stress, but usually that impacts your quality of sleep at the end of the day because you've been like a ball of stress all day.
Yeah.
And again, technology playing a really big part of it because we're accessible at our fingertips, right? I
Well,
mean,
yeah. I mean, if you think back to, and I like to reference this in the book a lot, if you go back to the 70s, the 80s, and even the early 90s, we had endings to our days. We had endings to different phases of our days because we weren't on call 24/7 with pages and iPhones and
hmm
all the technology we have. I remember being a kid and sitting in front of the TV on Saturday mornings for Saturday morning cartoons, right? I got to do that for an hour or so, and I went out and played. There was no Cartoon Network or 24/7 cartoons. Parents used to sit down and watch the news at 6 o'clock because it was the hour which the news was on.
hmm
It wasn't a news
it wasn't
station.
CNN.
Exactly. And when there was a news alert, it was a real news alert, right? It wasn't something crazy. Even when you think about music, when we were in college, right? Columbia House, you look through a magazine or get a
Oh my
CD, right?
goodness.
You didn't have unlimited music on your phone that you could get anytime you wanted. Talk about blockbusters or even the video stores beforehand, right? You'd go to the video store to choose a movie with your family, at least what I did, and there might be 2 or 3 or 4 copies of that video behind the cover. And if you were
hmm
lucky, you got to watch it. If you didn't, you had to come back next week because someone would have returned the video. Flash forward to where we are today, we're spoiled. We have everything at our fingertips. Movies, ballets, theaters, everything's been digitized. Every song ever made is now available on your fingertips. All you have to do is search for it on your phone. And that is an addiction of itself because we're naturally curious. We thrive off information and knowledge and entertainment. And we
It's almost
haven't,
like information overload. It's too much.
well, we haven't learned how to be human. We've learned to be addicted to the device, but we've forgotten
Mm.
we're human. And as a doctor, you know what I mean. We're human. We need sleep. We need light. We need food. We need water, right? We need human contact. We need interaction.
So
This
can you
device is
give,
taking that
uh,
away from us.
yeah, if so, can you give my listeners some easy, real, actionable tips that you recommend right now that they can start to really be examining, their relationship to their devices and technology, and maybe learn to start to de-stress.
Yeah, I think it's easier for people my age, if 40s, 50s, 60s, because we know what it was like before, right?
Well, we're the Gen X generation, yeah.
Right? We're the spoiled ones. We probably had the best of it, right? We really did. And normally I end podcasts when people ask me, what's my favorite tip? My favorite tip is to go play, go flirt, go play, go be with the ones that make you happy and smile and laugh and giggle because that's the best medicine you can possibly get for your cortisol. Smile, hug your pets, hug each other, go have fun and play, go flirt, go do something like that. Looking down at our phones, looking at emails, the news, the weather, politics, not always the best thing for our cortisol levels because we have opinions now. We have very strong views and there's so much polarizing content out there that most of us get upset when we read an article or a position or something that doesn't quite jive with us. So the best tips I have is try to separate yourself from your device. And the first thing, I'm sure you preach this all day long, is put the technology in a different room than your bedroom. Do not put technology in your bedroom. Your bedroom is for sleeping and for intimacy in a very simplistic way. And if you train your body to read books and to do work and to look at phones, that becomes associated with maybe anxiety, maybe stress, maybe depression. And you want your bedroom to be a sacred place that you know is your safe space that you can fall asleep and go. So technology doesn't belong in the bedroom whatsoever. Also, you don't want the EMFs and all the frequencies and all the buzzing and the vibrations and all the other things that could happen to wake you up if you're sleeping.
Interesting, because I actually do not tell my patients, oh, you can't, like you have to definitely eliminate the technology 100%. In fact, I keep my phone as my little alarm because it's connected to my Hatch that gently wakes me up in the morning. I love that thing. It's a sunrise alarm clock, guys, for those of you who don't know what Hatch is. But the reason I don't is because I completely intrinsically understand what you were getting at when we talk about addiction to technology. But for depending on the situation, sometimes I think for that particular individual, having a little bit of tech time sometimes is kind of their pacifier, their wind down routine. And it's funny because I've seen this over and over again. And there's some literature that actually supports that if the motivation is that by scrolling through TikTok feeds or YouTube videos of cats or what have you, helps you feel like you can get into a state that you're actually relaxing as opposed to getting yourself all revved up, that it's having the opposite effect. In your particular situation, it might not be the worst. But I think the key is it has to be hopefully out of the bed, ideally, if you have that available to you, because you have a space that you can do this before you get into bed. Completely agree. Bed is for nookie and for sleep. That is it. And putting a timer on it. I mean, that's what I tell them. I'm like, really try. And I do this myself because I will get sucked into the vortex of social media crap and all of that. I mean, I've really backed down considerably and I continue to back down because it is like time suckage. And I realize my kids are watching me do it and they'll be like, mommy's on her phone again. And that's terrible. If anything, it's like the example you set for little people in your life.
Spend 6 hours a day on scrolling through social media. And if you do the math, it's simply 1 year out of a 4-year college. You're paid to watch social media for 1 year as opposed to actually get the education. Look, there's always exceptions, and I never say this is a must-have. Everyone makes their choices.
Yeah.
But the general category is basically sleep hygiene, right? And very few people have the willpower not to be picking up their phone the moment they wake up and look at their emails, look at their feeds, look at their social media. And so for me...
I don't. It's easy. I refuse.
You are one of the few, right? The majority, the average person touches their phone 2,600 times a day, and the heavy users over 3,000 times a day. They touch it, constantly touching it, right?
Wow.
So for me, I just simply remove social media from my phone. I just don't have it on my phone. If I want to look at social media, I'm at my computer.
Oh, interesting. That's a really good tip.
It's not just there, right? Because that is too easy. And yeah, I have teenage kids and, I go to bed every day between 8:45 and 9 o'clock every day. I wake up every day at 4:30 and I'm at the gym by 5. That's just the way my body is designed. Like you said, even on the weekends, I don't even need an alarm clock. My body wakes up and my body goes to sleep. It's just been trained that way. But I'm a parent. And until I hear the garage door open and close, I'm not really asleep. I'm asleep, but I'm awake. I'm like in a very light sleep, shall we say. Because until they're home and they're safe, I'm not feeling that I can truly get into the sleep that I need. That's the reality. There's medical speak, yes, 7 to 8 hours uninterrupted sleep, but there's realities of life, like you spoke to for the workers that have night shifts. So, yeah, what I did was I removed social media from my phone. Simple as that. I'm on my computer, I'm at my desk, I'm at where I should be looking at it. When I'm with my family, friends, I'm out, I'm no longer fubbing, right? I'm no longer looking at you, but then looking at my phone and justify, well, I got to just check this, I got to look at this, right? Because people do that all the time, right? It's become social norm that, and now you're not fully engaged. The phone is a distraction. So by making it purely a tool for convenience for me as opposed to an addiction, which I believe my life for me has become better and I've become more present, more aware.